Here we are at the turnover. The green man is lying on his back, looking up at the ceiling. So the turnover comes like so. Now the grain's going this way, so there's a high spot along here, and it's downhill here and downhill here. And what I'm going to do is create a bit more downhill over there, like so. Otherwise it would be flat across. So tucking this round, like so. And then, keeping my midline, I'm going to redraw the edge. I've drawn my lines in here using a template to make sure that I got them equal. Now this line here is going to come around and like so. So this is hollowed in there, and this joins that leaf over there. So that's what's happening. So all this will turn over, and this will have to be removed. So there's wood here, across here, to be taken away, and we just really have to chop this out. I'm also going to come down this way. I'll make a sort of S-shaped curve like this. So we're going to come down, level off, and you might need a short bent tool like this to get under there. So there's going to be a little bit of a cave under here as it rolls over and create a bit of a shadow in there. What I will do is I'm going to keep a ridge here, which will be a central vein that will go inside and effectively comes round the top. So as I come down here on this side and on this side, I'll leave that little bit in the middle to go right underneath eventually. This depth here, you need to keep an eye on. It wants to be fairly deep, coming off your surface here. It cannot be deeper than the background. So it's got to be a sense of being within the green man and not part of the background. So keep an eye on that, but do make it fairly deep and come right underneath the turnover like this. One thing we need to decide is where this leaf lies in relation to the turnover, and I'm going to have the turnover go behind it. So I'm going to separate this leaf out here with a V-tool and that means that I can take wood away down here and drop this turnover behind that leaf. So make that decision and then take more out of here and round into there. And then we'll turn to the back end. I brought the carving back upright so we can see it more clearly. I undercut underneath the turnover quite a lot, and I use this short bend or spoon gouge to get right underneath there. I've left the centre vein in, and it goes up and under, so we want that to be present. And now the next stage is to look at the edges of the turnover. Now this edge here runs up and around and comes back down into this leaf. So there's wood all the way back here to be removed to round this into there. And the same at this side, this turnover goes round like this. So I'm going to do that next, dropping it flat to get at it better. But I'm also going to work the top over here and round a little bit and start putting in the centre vein here, which is this vein really on the other side coming over. I'll start by cleaning this edge up a little bit here and then drawing in the actual edge itself. Comes over here, nice curve, and back down into this depression here. So what I have to do is take wood away from here, down here. So the turnover is coming over here and around there. I'm going to take this back as far as the back, what you call it, the baseline here. Get my V tool in there. Eventually this will be a nice curve over. In fact, I might use my larger tool here to get an edge. Yeah, that gives me a nice edge there. So this part will be scooped out in here a bit more, and this edge will come all the way around like that, and will be slightly undercut as it comes round. And then this one here will come straight down without being undercut. Put the V tool along here to give me a little bit of a groove, and I'm going to bring the centre vein, tilting the V tool to one side, from the middle over like this, and then tilting on the other side the opposite way. Get it going. And then I'm going to start rounding this bit. So we've got a sort of shape like two domes going on. So once I've started that, I can just clean the surface up a bit, and this whole thing will come round and underneath a little bit there. And this vein itself, we'll keep the centre line, we'll keep that going, but we will eventually hollow this a little bit. So a little bit more over there. This bit in here, you're going to have to work out with a skew chisel, and that's going to be the same for all the leaves. And when you go in, make sure you don't wobble the skew chisel like this, or you'll sort of snap the point, but you can just quietly work that away and pull this out, all this stuff in here. So now I've finished on this side, or good enough for the moment, and then I'm going to repeat it exactly on the other side of the turnover. The centre vein here is lower than these two lobes on either side, so it goes down and it's slightly hollowed, which is an interesting thing, and goes right down to the back like that. So what we're left with is now to undercut here to cut in the edge of the turnover, and we can start with a deep gouge, and then as we get deeper we can turn to the spoon gouge and hollow in here to create some nice shadows in here on both sides. Here's the turnover, pretty much in place. I'm going to make a secondary leaf here and here in order to give it more interest. I turned the carving upside down to get at this. It's quite deeply undercut. We didn't film that, but it's all in place with the rest of the leaves. So now I'm going to go back to the face and the eyes and start firming up the features.